Inspired and tired, that's the gist of our podcast. Inspired, but we're tired. Should we create or should we take a nap?
Create.
Nap. We should definitely nap.
Chase, we're doing the show.
That's right. Of course we're doing the show. Yeah, no, that's what I said. Yeah. Inspired and Tired with your hosts, Chase and London. Hello. Welcome to episode 31 of Inspired and Tired with your hosts, Chase and London.
Hi, Chase.
Hi, London. Thank you so much for being here with us. London and I are sisters. We are both in creative fields as careers, and we constantly are talking to each other about how to live a creative life and to stay creative. It can get arduous sometimes.
It can.
And so this podcast has been so fun because it's been holding us accountable to learn a lot about creativity, and hopefully you're learning something as well along with us. So we read The Artist's Way, we read Big Magic, and now we're on Twyla Tharp's The Creative Habit, Learn It and Use It for Life. So this week I read chapter 7, and I'm going to be discussing it with London, who has not read it.
I'm excited. I'm here just eyes open, ears open, ready to learn, ready to listen.
We also have Rolo in the studio, my dog, who's just sitting at our feet.
Like a little angel down there.
Angel.
I bet I'll learn something.
So today, are you feeling inspired or tired?
I am feeling inspired today.
Oh!
Believe it or not, I am inspired.
London and I are also in matching dresses, and we did not plan it.
No, we didn't. Yours is very cute, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's Rent the Runway.
Oh.
Love Shack Fancy.
Great.
Yours is Target, because I got the dress and I gave it to you. So mine's more elevated.
Yeah, Chase is a little more classy today, as she should, because she is going to be teaching me what went on in chapter 7. And I can't wait. I can't believe it's already the holiday time, too.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, just on a different note. Time's
flying.
On
a different note, time's flying.
Flying.
Whew.
So.
Okay, are you done with that note? Are you ready to? Okay.
I'm done with that note.
Accidents Will Happen is the name of the chapter. And do you want to take a gander on what this chapter is about?
I think it's going to be about, like, if something doesn't work the first time, don't give up, keep going, try again.
No, not even close.
Really? I thought I was going to nail it and the episode would be done.
Not even close. This whole chapter is about, like, learning how to plan, but not over plan. And I don't know why she calls it accidents will happen. I think what she means is, like, luck will happen.
Okay.
Because the whole chapter is, like, plan just enough so that luck can come into your creative process.
Well, I feel like if you plan too much, then obviously something is going to go wrong. Like, there's no way everything can go perfectly as planned. So you got to leave a little cushion in between for the universe, the higher power, to strike and put itself into the work.
Exactly. You could have written the book. Yes, exactly. She starts off by talking about a photographer, Richard Avedon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But, oops, lost my notes. Give me a second.
Richard Avedon.
He is, and Twyla Tharp, the writer of this book, loves to use examples from so long ago.
Which I like.
Yeah, I know. It's her thing. Anyways, Richard Avedon is a portrait photographer from the 20s? I don't know. Long time ago.
Ooh, we're pulling up his work here.
Yeah,
I see
1923.
elephants with dancers. Oh, this is fantastic.
So he never left anything to chance, okay? So he would meet with his clients. He would take portraits of, famous people or whoever. He'd meet with his clients before the session even happened. He wanted to be so prepared, but he wasn't over prepared. He knew the feeling he wanted to go for, but that's it. He never was like, this is the exact shot I'm getting. So the perfect example that she uses is Charlie Chaplin came into the studio. We all know Charlie, right?
Yeah, we know Charlie. I just had breakfast at his house.
London.
I did. You can go. It's
What?
It's right around Larchmont. It's a beautiful little cafe.
Oh.
He has a really cool house.
What do you mean? Let's
It's his
pull
old
that
house.
up.
He also had I looked it up too. Here, he had a house in like Switzerland or something, but he also had a house in Los Angeles.
And it's on Larchmont, and you can go for coffee?
Yeah. Oh, it's delicious. I got a quiche. I got a cappuccino.
What's it called?
I forget what it's called.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
Can I just search Charlie Chaplin's?
I think that's what we're trying to do right now, and it's not coming up.
It doesn't seem to be working.
But hey, it's right in the city here.
I just went to Charlie Chaplin's.
I did. It was great.
Okay, well, Charlie's coffee shop.
No,
I think they were messing with you.
I don't. Republique. That's it.
Oh.
You heard of it?
No.
Well.
Okay.
It's very cute.
Well, I'll have to go. Yeah,
that's it.
It looks charming.
Mm-hmm.
That was his house?
Yeah, see? Inside. Very, like, cool-looking home that they transformed into an amazing coffee shop and, like, French food, I think. So.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone's going to have to take an artist date to Republique.
Yes.
And if you're not in LA, just get a flight on over. So, easy.
We'll see you here. Okay.
We'll see you here. I wish they called it like Chaplin's or like something that
they do have photos of him inside and stuff.
Cool.
Like there's nodes of Charlie all around.
Well, that's really cool.
So this photographer though got to photograph?
Yeah. So Richard had a session with Charlie Chaplin, and I don't know if you know this, but he had to leave America.
Charlie?
Yeah. Did you know this?
I mean, maybe that's why he went to Switzerland.
I don't know why he had to leave America, but the day he shot him, like photographed him, Charlie was annoyed and angry that he had to leave America. I don't know if it was like McCarthyism.
He was denied entry. He didn't flee. He was not allowed back into the country.
That's why he was annoyed. He
I
was
bet.
annoyed. So Richard had this like task. He knew the feeling he wanted to have with Charlie, which was like funny, fun. And Charlie wasn't giving him anything. So like, you know, this is the like, you have this plan, but you kind of have to just like go with the flow. You can plan as much as you can, but you can't be like, this is the shot I'm going to get, because you might not get it. Charlie Chaplin ended up like annoyingly putting devil ears or horns on his head. Richard snapped the shot. It's become a very famous picture. And I have the picture here to show you, London.
He was just like, I don't want to take pictures today.
Yeah, he threw up the devil horns, just like, I'm annoyed. And
he was ready to go.
There it is. Which this doesn't look like Charlie Chaplin at all to me.
Well, it's because the mustache.
Yeah.
We think of him with the mustache.
I know. So,
wow. That is a very,
and it became
that's a good photo.
Like a very famous photo, but only because Richard was prepared, but not so much in a way that made it so like he wasn't able to go with the flow. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions?
No, that makes total sense.
Okay.
And I really like his work, this photographer.
Yeah.
There were some really beautiful photos, and I'd never heard of him before.
Yeah, me neither. He's from, Twyla Tharp's time.
Yeah. Really nice.
So she says that planning is like the scaffolding for a home, and you have to build that structure, but you need to let go of the scaffolding when you go in and design the interior. Like that's where you have fun and play. You can't like also be seeing the scaffolding.
So the plans kind of go away once you
get to the decorating, the scaffolding disappears.
Okay.
So you have to do that planning, but then bye-bye. Mm-hmm. So the most interesting paradox of creativity is you have to know how to prepare to be creative, to be habitually creative. So like knowing how to prepare to be creative is a skill in itself.
I think we've been talking about this a lot, like even from the first chapter, like getting into your routine, getting like whatever you need in place to start. I feel like we're on chapter 7 and we're still
like, I know,
just starting.
She says, I know. She says, good planning alone won't do the trick. It's once you let go of the plan that you can breathe life into your efforts. And the thought that I had when I read this was like, okay, we know the art of ballet. Like we know how to do all the positions. And because we know that so well, you can turn on a song and we're able to just like dance. And people go, how do you know that dance? And I go, I don't know. I'm just making it up. So like you know the basis of everything, you know the tools, but then that's when you're allowed to flow. That was the example I had. Does any come to mind for you?
No, that makes sense completely because recently I was at a Halloween ballroom dancing competition.
London. You were at Charlie Chaplin's and a Halloween ballroom dancing?
Yeah, the ballroom competition was at Shirley Temple's old studio.
London.
And
you have a second life going on.
There were times when they'd put on music and you got to get up and try the types of ballroom dances. I had never done the Viennese waltz or this or that, but one of the dance teachers came over to me and he's like, all right, follow me 2 steps back. And because I had that training already in place, I was just able to follow along.
You go with the flow.
And it made it easier.
Did you win the competition?
Actually, it was a costume competition and I did win a sweat towel.
Why didn't I hear any of this? I'm a little annoyed.
Well, let me get my camera out. Put
you
those
need to
devil
talk
horns
to me
up.
more. Wow, that's a big deal.
I mean, like I said, I won a sweat towel. So
that's cool. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Wow. Did you go alone?
No, I went with Danny, my husband.
Okay. So, Twyla says, when inspiration strikes, it is not luck.
Okay.
You've earned it. Luck, you could say it's luck, but no, you've earned it. So then she's going on to give a ton of examples that I'm going to begin.
I always think about that because they say like, oh, they got so lucky.
And it's like, no, they didn't.
And then when you look into the story, it's like, no, they've been working for this for years.
I said that about Olivia Rodrigo. Her driver's license song came on.
She was boom.
And London was telling me about it. And, oh, she's a TikToker. And then, well, I don't know, you told me this. And then we went back to look, oh, no, she's been doing this since she was 8 years old and has been, yeah.
Yeah. So let's hear Twyla's examples.
Okay. Twyla was creating the ballet Surfer at the River Styx. Have you heard of it?
No. Surfer at the River Styx.
Twyla could not come up with an ending. You can play this while I tell the story. This is Surfer at the River Styx for those watching.
That is not what I thought it would be, and I wouldn't think this is ballet. Wow.
She could not come up with an ending. She knew the plan was for it to be majestic. Then, in a stroke of luck, it came to her at the end of rehearsal. 4 men, 1 woman. Very similar to 2 girls, 1 cup, in my opinion. Jeez. Stroke of genius. And she said, I'm going to have 3 or 4 men hold up 1 woman above their head in the splits.
Wow, like she's a stick or a surfer.
And that's going to be the ending, like she's just flying in the air. And this video, it shows that stroke of genius she had right at the very end.
And if you're just listening, okay, we did just see a bit of ballet. There's some turns. That's very impressive.
This is her 4 men, 1 woman.
Boom. Splits. That is majestic. The splits in the air was my favorite part.
So she said...
so she had the idea of the sticks at the end, or the splits at the end.
The 4 men,
and the
1
rest.
woman.
The rest.
She was, but she was prepared because she had like planned what she wanted and she knew the idea. And then when it came to her, she didn't feel like that was luck. She felt like she earned it. She was like, oh, I earned that ending.
Yeah.
Prepared and lucky are inseparable. You don't get luck without prepared. In creative endeavors, luck is a skill.
Okay.
So I have more examples.
This is specifically in creative things, luck. I mean, because like the lottery is luck a lot of times.
Correct. Or that's not a skill.
I met the host of The Amazing Race at a sushi bar, you know.
I think that could have been a skill.
Really?
You were manifesting that.
I was not stalking him.
You were manifesting that.
Well.
Oh, well, I guess then you could say like luck is manifesting. No. Okay,
no,
you're right.
So specifically for creativity.
Okay. With creativity, luck is a skill. I think she's using luck as the same as like an idea. comes. But here's, Mark McCormick. Who knows who that is? I want a raise of hands.
The baseball player?
No, that's Mark McGuire. I thought the same thing. Mark McCormick. He's from probably the 1920s also.
Pioneer of sports marketing.
He's an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So this isn't even creative. His 3 clients, you're going to recognize one of them. 3 strokes of luck at the beginning of his career. His clients were Arnold Palmer. Heard of him?
Yep.
I've heard of the drink. Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus.
I know of the first.
Me too.
He's a golfer.
Yes, these were all golfers.
Oh, okay.
Some people said he got lucky by having those 3 clients as his first clients.
Mm-hmm.
He said, some people wouldn't know luck if it hit them on the nose. He knew it was lucky when he got those 3 players and he was ready for it. So he doesn't contribute that to luck. He contributes it to like he was ready for those 3 players to come in and to get lucky.
He had built up the foundation of what needs to be done. So when those clients arrived, he was ready to hit the ground running.
And Gary Player, one of his golfers, he said, the more I practice, the more lucky I get. So, you know, it's all that like mentality of just like doing the work, putting in your time. Another example of,
there is this quote, sorry to interrupt, that was just pulled up. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I agree too.
I also think there's a lot to do with being in the right mindset. Like believing in yourself
Definitely
really matters. Like
yeah.
the whole manifestation stuff does matter. There's a story about, you guys have heard of Goodyear?
Yep, tires.
Very famous company. Back in the day.
But they weren't lucky.
Not lucky. Back in the day, Goodyear, he's a man. His last name's Goodyear.
Wow.
And he was working on making rubber. It wasn't until this accident happened, he accidentally spilled his like concoction onto like a hot sizzling stove. And the rubber, I'm not explaining it super
no, I
right,
understand,
but the
though.
rubber like hardened instead of like melting. And everyone goes, oh my God, he got so lucky that he accidentally spilled it and realized his invention and they became like the #1 tire company. He goes, this wasn't luck at all. I had been tirelessly working around the clock to figure this out. Had someone else accidentally spilt this onto a stove, they wouldn't have known what to do with it.
Yeah.
But he got lucky. It was an accident, but he says he knew what to do with it because he was so prepared.
I feel like the Post-it story is very similar.
What's that one?
I think it's like some sort of substance went into the top of a notepad and then it became sticky. But
I think it was that they were trying to create a glue, and the problem was the glue wasn't sticky enough. But then they realized that they could actually use the fact that it wasn't so sticky. It didn't leave a residue. So you can pick up and remove Post-its and like place them in different spots.
I always think of Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Yeah.
Because they invented Post-its. I bet the inventor of Post-its is really rich.
oh, I think they're doing great.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, still going strong.
I mean, everyone, 68, invented in 68.
We're learning a lot about inventions on this
I love
podcast.
it. It's like a Shark Tank episode.
Yeah. So anyways, some people resent the idea of luck, saying our triumphs are not our own. Twyla says, get over it. Luck is a skill. Okay?
I would fully agree.
Luck is like getting a message from, like, you know, when you're like waiting for a delivery and they're like, okay, we're going to come between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Hope you're home. She says this is what luck is. Like, it's showing up and expecting a delivery between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. and just waiting and like listening and being there and working. And like, it's just showing up at your desk for all those hours, and maybe in a stroke of genius, one thing of luck will happen. So that's kind of what it's like.
Okay. So she wants us to throw our coins from the exercises from last week on the page, do your eggs,
She
prepare
says,
yourself.
make sure, be at your desk and ready to go and looking for luck. The more you're working on your project, the more luck has a chance to strike, which is exactly similar to Big Magic with Elizabeth Gilbert saying, like, just show up. Like, sit down at your desk
and write.
99% of the time, like, nothing, like, you're not going to have, like, any great ideas, but just by showing up, you're allowing ideas to come to you when they do. Well, I said 99% of the time.
What does she say, 100?
Woody Allen, who's controversial. But he has the famous quote, 80% of show business is showing up. She says it's the same with luck. 80% of luck is just showing up and doing the work, and then luck can have a chance to strike. So here's some issues that can derail your thought out plan. This is why she says, don't, like, be so rigid with your plan. Like, things are going to derail it, because if there's what's the quote? I'll get to it. I wrote it down.
Assuming makes an ass out of you and me.
No, it's like, I'll just get to it. I'll remind you. Okay. Other people are something that can, like, derail your plan. So no matter how well-intentioned someone else might be, things go wrong. Dancers get injured. A loved one falls ill. Someone hits a roadblock right as you're breaking through your own. You have to roll with the punches instead of resisting them.
Completely makes sense.
This all sounds like, that sounds right. Perfectionism.
Well, before you go on to the next one, what I think is nice about that, though, to remember is it always happens. So when that person doesn't follow through on something they need to get done, or when something goes on in someone's life that you can't control, instead of getting mad and frustrated, just, like, accept it as part of the process and be able to continue going without that just being like, well, I'm done and freaking out.
I remember now, it's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Okay.
So that's
I thought Murphy's Law was what goes up must come down.
Is that it?
Oh, no, you're right.
Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So just know, like, okay, yeah, this is my plan, but anything that can go wrong will. So, like, don't be so stuck on it.
Yeah.
You can't be too perfectionistic at the start. An artist who doesn't start the process until every color possibly is imagined is mixed on his board, it's considered procrastination, not preparation. Or not moving on to the second chapter of your novel until the first chapter is perfect. That's too prepared. That's trying to be way too prepared.
That reminds me of Artist's Way, there's beauty in the beginner. Like, let yourself just do it and move forward instead of trying to make it perfect.
And a lot of people will say when they're starting a project, oh, but I don't have enough resources, like, everything's limited. She says it's enough to get started. And she used Balanchine, who's a choreographer, as an example. He had everything he wanted. He had all the resources in the world, but he was limited to his dancers 55 minutes at a time because of union rules and could only create with them in the room. He made it work. You know, he could only, even though he had all these resources, he could only choreograph for 55 minutes a day with them.
That's surprising. You're only allowed to dance for an hour?
Well, they would go on to other rehearsals and stuff. Okay.
So. He only had them for 1 hour.
Yeah, and 55 minutes. And he made it work, clearly. So time is the most limited resource when it comes to creativity, but it is not the enemy of creativity.
I think it's actually the positive a lot of times. It's like, if I only have 2 days to get this done, it will get done.
I knew you'd like this. She says the ticking clock is our friend if it gets us moving with urgency and passion. She says, show me a writer who thinks he has all the time in the world, and I'll show you a writer who never delivers.
Okay.
Which it's true. Like, what's your famous quote?
The project always takes however long you have.
Okay. Yeah. I tried to say it at the same time as you. The other limited resource is that
money.
Bingo. Twyla has seen too many artists dry up the moment money is involved. So you can't use money or time as an excuse as to why you're not creating or getting started.
Yeah.
And Twyla also talked about in this chapter that, like, before she had all the resources in the world, she would create pieces with without a stage, without musicians, without dancers, without any, like she would literally make up the dance in silence, and yet she did it. She made it work. So
she didn't even have enough for a music
no
composition?
costumes, no sound, no stage, no excuse.
Well, that's
kind of
why I started doing street art. It was like, well, let me just put my art out there. I don't have a museum. No one can stop me. The street's free.
You know what? That's what the whole thing about stand-up was too.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for a casting director to cast
Right.
you. You can just
go
go up and do it.
Mm-hmm.
No excuse. All right. You can't use the excuse of having a wrong structure. Like, oh, wait, what?
A wrong structure.
Here's some issues that can derail you. Okay, a wrong structure. Maybe, okay. So maybe, excuse me, maybe you're writing a play.
Okay.
And you're just having trouble with it. Well, don't be so pigeonholed to the play. Maybe it's a one-act play, be open to it changing. Maybe you're writing a novella, but it should be a short story.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're writing, this happens a lot with poets. They're writing a haiku. It should be a sonnet. Oh. And they're so fine they're fine switching back and forth to all the different versions of poems.
Interesting.
So, like, don't be so uptight about what you're creating. And that's something that, like, if your plan is so uptight and you know what your plan is, you're not going to be open to the idea of switching formats.
That's really good advice, because I sometimes find myself thinking like it has to be a certain way. I don't know how to switch something crocheted from a haiku to a sonnet, but there's got to be something in there. So
maybe if like you start with the intention of like, I'm going to make this piece for the Smithsonian Museum, and you're like, you know what, this just isn't working. I'm going to make it a street art piece.
Yeah, maybe it's meant to be a blanket.
Maybe it's meant to be a blanket. Yeah.
I could say that about all my projects that go wrong. This one's supposed to be a scarf. This one.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't have to be so rigid on your plan. Obligation, she says, don't feel obligated. It's a flimsy base for creativity. And she tells the story of Twyla felt obligated to a composer who had done a favor for her. So she tried to make a ballet with his music.
It wasn't working.
After 6 weeks of trying, she scrapped the whole thing.
Wow.
And she was like, you know what? Passion, courage, instinct, desire, those are much better reasons to start a project than obligation.
I wonder how she let him down. Having to say like, honey, it ain't working.
I know, I do feel bad
I'm
for
moving
him.
on. Yeah.
So, lastly, the wrong materials could be something that like holds you back at the beginning. And this is Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will. Twyla was hell-bent on 4 dancers. So when only 3 showed up to rehearsal, it was an entire day wasted. She learned to adapt and plan differently. Now she makes sure she has at least 2 understudies. And it's like if a wedding planner like didn't bring a tent to the reception in the off chance it rains, like that's their fault. So she now is like prepared. She has her understudies, and it's not just going to be a waste of a day because someone didn't show up or you don't have the right materials.
I like that because it makes me think of what I call learning rainbows. When something goes wrong once, well, now I'm not going to do that again. Like I've learned from it and I'm going to adjust and change instead of getting mad at myself.
Yeah, you definitely have to learn. And Twyla gives the example of her biggest lesson, which was she was given 4 weeks at New York City Ballet to create whatever she wanted.
Oh, that's so much pressure. Where do you begin?
I know. She goes, whom the gods wish to destroy, they give unlimited resources.
Oh, yeah.
Which it is true. Like last week you were talking about like give yourself a challenge, and like if you just like are like, this is what I'm doing, this is the time limit, this is like, it's a lot easier than just like, here you go.
Whatever you want.
So this was Twyla Tharp's first time choreographing at New York City Ballet. And she was like, I want this to be a statement. I want this to be big. I want the reviews. I want to use every soloist there is. And she used all these dancers and had to put like soloists in the ensemble. And these soloists kind of were like what? Like, why am I in the ensemble? So she like kind of made the cast angry. Instead of using like the whole orchestra, because she could do whatever she wanted, she used Beethoven. We know she loves Beethoven.
Loves Beethoven. So now the orchestra's pissed?
Well, everyone was pissed. She said she was a kid at the candy store and there was just too much going on. So halfway through, she's 2 weeks in out of the 4 weeks she had. It was so obvious this wasn't working that she changed the music. But she felt obligated to these dancers because she's like, I just wasted 2 weeks of their time. I'm going to keep the same choreography, but use it with this different song. And like now it just wasn't even right. And she was feeling this obligation. And
I think this is the first time she's ever shared a more traumatic story.
Well,
from
you
her
want to
life.
know the ending? She goes, it was received with warm reviews.
Oh, okay.
But she says looking back, she doesn't like thinking about it because of how painful the process was.
Yeah.
She said she had wanted it to be grandiose and like career changing. It wasn't.
It was just a piece of work that was well received.
Well received piece of work. But the next ballet she choreographed was at ABT, American Ballet Theater. She only had 2 weeks to choreograph it. The whole thing, she had a small budget, limited resources. She didn't get to use any dancers she wanted. And taking what she learned from New York City Ballet, she made it all work. It's her most satisfying ballet of her career.
Okay.
The conditions were so limited, it concentrated the mind perfectly.
I think that is so much easier to have these like specific things that you have to do to then create.
I think the message of this chapter, because that's the chapter, the message of this chapter is like, I know we all as artists pray for limited resources and the time and the money, but like things actually get done when there's a deadline, a budget, like restrictions, and it is a challenge.
Yeah. Also from this chapter, it's that luck is not actually luck. It's work and putting in the time, and then the luck will strike.
It's the same exact thing that Elizabeth Gilbert talked about, that just like no matter how you phrase it, if you show up, like then the ideas will eventually come. You have to like prove that like, look, I'm worthy of these ideas because I'm showing up every day. So
I like this.
There were homework assignments. Did you learn from that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, the first homework assignment is pick a fight.
Oh, never.
I know. So basically, she's saying like when you begin a project, pick a fight with the systems, the rules, the rituals, and your everyday routines. Like switch it up. Defy your usual process. If you start the day with a ritual, which she does working out, she's like, do the workout backwards. When you begin your project,
I'll be to sleep by 9 a.m.
Ask yourself why you're doing it this way. What solace and protection does it bring? Do it another way. Questioning what's gone unquestioned gets the mind humming. When you actually get down to work, do the opposite of the brain of what the brain is telling you to do. You need to do this once in a while, if only to prepare you for the bigger battle, which is picking a fight with something outside yourself.
Okay, so we're not picking a fight with a human. We're picking a fight with the systems.
Yeah, pick a fight with the system.
Okay.
Because she's basically saying this is going to teach you to go with the flow when things go not according to plan. So like if you're working on a big ballet for New York City Ballet, congratulations if you are. And Balanchine comes in and is like, no, we're going to do this with 3 men and 1 woman instead of 4 men and 1 woman. And you have to be like, oh, okay, I know how to do that because I've been teaching myself how to do things differently with this like homework assignment.
I like that. Even like working, the way usually I do my emails is like top to bottom when they come in. Like maybe I start at the one that's on the bottom and go up. Like there's ways to switch up all sorts of little things.
Yeah, so get creative. I didn't do that exercise because
it's okay.
I did the chapter today. Okay, but
we're doing them together.
Okay. So the next one is...
Hello, Rollo.
Rollo is
he
here.
in camera?
A little bit.
Aw.
Just from here
He's
up.
just staring at
You
me.
just see a little snoot.
Hey, Rello. He's yawning. He's so bored.
No, he's tired. We're getting him inspired.
Okay. So the next homework assignment, I liked this one.
Yeah.
Your perfect world. So I guess I could just read it here. I took a screenshot, but I'll read it here. So if she was sublimely fortunate, I would work in my perfect world daily. At rare times, I have been privileged to work with dancers on the following basis. Is he okay?
Rollo's good. He's just getting some water,
Okay.
taking a little stretch,
Okay.
and he's down. Oh, what a gem. All right.
So these are her groundwork rules for a completely perfect, if everything was right in her world, to create.
I can't wait to hear.
Okay, it would be quiet, no one present, no observers. You like that. All the time in the world, no worry that you will be thrown out or that you will go into overtime, no goal other than to try things, no fear of failure, no obligations. We entertain each other. I challenge them. They challenge me. Each day completes itself. The next day is new. Sounds like a great creative atmosphere.
It sounds nice.
So she challenges us in this homework assignment to write down what is your ideal, perfect, creative scenario. I did this one.
I figured.
A week of no interruption, solitude, no distractions, no internet, a deadline, one project at a time.
Beautiful.
But I like some of hers too.
Yeah, hers are good. I would want like an environment with like, I'm almost imagining like a house overlooking the beach of Hawaii with palm trees. So like a beautiful atmosphere to look out and be able to like go in and out. Definitely no like obligations or like specific goals that need to be set, just to play, enjoy, and try new things.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You've always said you would love to go to Bali and crochet on the beach.
Crochet blankets on the beach.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Okay. The last exercise is how to be lucky. She says, be generous. The luckiest artists make others feel lucky just to be around them. So Twyla used to put herself front and center in her pieces. She had to start to learn letting that go and let someone else be the center because they're a better fit. Generosity is luck going in the other way from you. If you do something to help someone out, you are in effect making them lucky. So lend your art to others, interest-free, no IOUs. She's basically saying like, help other people be lucky. Mm-hmm. Like give them opportunities so that in turn you can get lucky.
Karma, right?
Yeah. Karma.
Yeah.
Karma. Just be generous. Don't put yourself front center if there's a better option.
Yeah. Okay.
She's bitter about that. And
she wants to be in the center.
She was like, I'm not happy about it, but I do it now. You know, she's bitter.
Well.
Lastly, work with the best. See, all these exercises are kind of like
practices,
in general,
like things to put into play.
Yeah, when you are given this opportunity, work with the best. Okay. She says, as an artist, you'll always be collaborating and collaborate with the best.
Well, I feel honored to be collaborating with you on this podcast because I think you are the best.
Oh,
you're a podcasting queen.
Thank you.
I like this chapter.
Yeah, that was it. She said, you'll get lucky the more often you work with good people.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. But then you have to be careful. You don't want to get used either.
No, I mean, you'd want to get like paid.
Yeah.
If you're working for the best.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay, yeah, takeaways.
So what was it called?
Accidents will happen.
Accidents will happen. So the takeaways are be flexible, learn from those mistakes. If things go wrong, don't get upset because things will always go wrong. And just keep working and don't stop. And at some point, luck may strike, but it won't be because you're lucky. It's because of all the work you had done up until then.
Yeah. I feel like we knew all of this, but she just worded it in different ways, gave some great examples about Goodyear and Mitch McCormick or something that we didn't know about. And we learned that
Mark McCormick.
And you've recently been going to Shirley Temple and Charlie Chaplin establishments.
I have. Hollywood is filled with them. So,
well, on that note, do you have anything to plug?
I will be at Vogue Knitting Live in December, if you check out Vogue Knitting Live online. And I will also be there in person in New York City in January.
And I'm going to go with her.
And Chase will be there too. So,
just for fun.
Yeah. So I'd love to see if you want to learn to crochet.
I won't be like in the class with London. I'll just be in New York for a free hotel. Yes. Fun.
And what about you? It's the holidays. I feel like you get to kind of slow down a little, but
yeah. I just have some local shows, and I'm going to England. Well, I don't know. Is that bad to say where I'm going to be?
No, I think the country's big enough.
Okay. This is just for pleasure, not for work.
Right.
Come find me in England. And
and follow on Chase's Instagram at Chase O'Donnell to see all of her touring dates.
Oh, you know what? I do have a plug. If you're still listening, I do have a plug.
What's the plug?
I started a tea company with my cousin, London's cousin also, called Pity Party, and we're launching very, 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 very soon. So if you like tea, check that out. You can I'll be posting about it on my Instagram. So Chase_O'Donnell, but there's me. It's not on YouTube yet.
It's not up yet.
But the website is pitypartea.com. PITYPARTEA, like tea.
Pity Party.
Pity Party. But it's not live yet. So even if you search it.
Well, I'm going to bookmark it.
Okay.
There you go.
Bookmark it. You just need a password at the moment.
Oh,
no, you spelled it wrong again. TEA.
Oh.
You get it? Like tea?
Yeah, I get it. My hands are not.
Oh, you need a password.
You need a password right now, but it's about to go live.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Make sure to grab some tea, hopefully very soon. And please subscribe and comment and share this podcast with anyone who you think will be inspired by these little creativity tips and hacks. So thank you, Chase.
Next week, chapter 8.
Ooh, get ready.
Okay.
All right. Bye.